Hey guys, welcome to the AVADirect live stream number 7. I'm Shannon.
I'm Joe.
And I feel like that was unnecessarily loud, but that's okay. I don't mind being deaf, as long as it's from you, Joe.
If it's too loud, you're too old.
Is that a joke just because my birthday just happened? I'm not that much older than you.
That is an old saying from a line of musicians that I've known for a long time.
I know it is.
If it's too loud, you're too old.
But there's a lot of lines from musicians that we can't really do here.
No, so I just figured I would exercise my right to be loud.
Well, you do that often, actually. I mean, we can hear you from one end of the building to the other sometimes.
That's good. I never need a megaphone. Save a lot of money.
You don't. We could actually save money on a phone system if we all were like you.
This is true.
So what's happening, guys? As you know, Computex is upon us, or actually it's exiting at this point because it's like Saturday morning there right now. Well, just about Saturday morning right now. So basically Computex is coming to an end. So with that, the normal hardware coverage we talk about is going to be quite large.
I mean, that's daunting almost.
Yeah, we have 5 pages of notes, and I'm not sure if we'll make it through it, but we'll definitely do the best we can.
Yep.
First, I want to say hi to the people that we've seen join. Hi, John, Chad, pretty much everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Kyle joined. Get back to work.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. Damn, Joe.
Hey, Kyle. You want to see some magic?
I promise we're going to keep this somewhat reasonably rated, I think. So the first thing that we wanted to kind of touch on, and it's something we actually are pretty excited about, is Intel unveiling the i7-8086K.
Pretty cool stuff.
So it's the first CPU by Intel to reach 5 gigahertz mark. We saw the FX 9590, I don't know, many moons ago, and besides being an awesome campfire, it didn't really do the 5 gigahertz even with a 360 AO. I don't know. It is what it is. We can now get it for like 85 bucks. So I think the 8086 is a much more appropriate 5 gigahertz chip. What do you think?
Yes, and due to the fact that it's actually the first of its kind, it's actually the first special Intel chip that I actually care about.
Well, yeah, it's not like the Anniversary Edition Pentium where I'm like, I like that, it's cool, but don't care.
Yeah, I think the only person that actually got excited about that was my 60-year-old father who had been working in tech since the 70s. So you hit your demographic perfectly there, Intel, but this one seems much more suitable for our day and age.
I remember in my day and age when I could overclock a 333 Celeron to 1 gigahertz.
I had to spend $1,000 on 500 kilobytes of storage.
I remember, you kids are spoiled. I remember when a desktop hard drive took a whole room.
I had to get a dedicated card just to use a mouse.
And you had to carry it uphill both ways in the snow?
Oh, no.
We are in Ohio, so snow.
This is true.
So this is a 40th anniversary of Intel's x86 architecture with the 8086 processor. So they released an 8086K. Now, to be completely honest, this CPU, by spec, as you saw when we rolled it a little bit ago, if you go to Intel Arc, what's wrong with you?
I'm excited. I'm excited to actually talk about this chip.
I love it. I'm sitting here like this and just like,
Well, I mean, 5 gigahertz, I know they say on air, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, we actually should have them in hand here shortly, so we
know.
will be validating that.
Next live stream, we will validate this.
But I will say that basically what these look like is just specially binned or top-end 8700K chips. They're exactly the same spec, exactly the same TDP, so all it is they literally took an 8600K, which we do internally already. We take an 8700K, and we could, when you order overclocking service, we push it to about 5 gigahertz, sometimes even 5.1. So the 8086K is basically just one that's guaranteed it's going to hit 5 gigahertz under single core loading, according to their algorithm and how it works, and from what I've seen from reports thus far. And that's really cool because as of today, if you order an AVADirect system, being that we are going to have them here shortly, you can order your Z370 system with an 8086K while supplies last because it is a limited edition chip.
And on top of that, you can also order our DLID service and push that even further, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, because recent Intel chips have kind of lit a fire inside, I guess you could say, except inside itself.
They're not chips, they're hot plates, ladies and gentlemen.
They
want to fry an egg with your PC, just crack the egg, throw it on the chip. No heat sink needed.
They do perform really well, but damn, do they get hot doing it. It's insane.
No, absolutely. I mean, these chips get so hot that I had my PC sitting in the same room that had my thermostat in it, and in the winter months, it was able to fool my house into thinking it was a comfortable degrees in that room, and then the entire house was like a 7-degree deficit. So,
and is that your Skylake X build?
No.
Okay, I was going to be like, that's a completely different world.
That was a 4790K chip that was delidded.
Now let's move to Skylake X, which you have, and I have. And how much of a thermal wonderful time that is.
It's not a thermal wonderful time.
So what you're saying is it's a not awesome time.
Well, I want to get a monoblock for my system, but I feel like why add more heat to more heat?
Well, but then you can cool the VRMs and overclock it more.
Sure, but if I'm not hitting the wall for the VRMs, what's the point? If my system's stable as is at 4.7, I don't need it. More or less, it's just a want at this point. And I feel like the moment I do that, all my CPU temperatures are going to tank.
By the way, is it bad that I'm drinking coffee at basically 3 p.m.?
No, not at all.
Okay. That cup made a lot more noise than I expected.
I don't judge.
I'm hoping not. But other than that, other than being just like an 8700K, it's like a top end 8700K. I'm assuming when we do try to overclock them, that being that they're top end, they might reach a slightly higher speed, but overall they're probably going to be roughly similar. And actually, we saw reports recently, Der Bauer, the same guy who made the delidding tool we use, Roman actually said that he's tested them, and everything he's seen from the couple samples he's had access to, he was only able to achieve about a similar overclock to what his decent 8700Ks were. So figure 8086K is going to be really cool because you get a cool little icon that says limited edition on CPU-Z, and you get a guaranteed 5 gigahertz chip basically right out of the box. But other than that, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot beyond that. So it's a really awesome one. It's limited edition. It basically is overclocked without having to overclock it at all, at least from what we've seen on paper. Next week, we'll confirm it.
So you're overclocking and overclocked.
Speaking of next week, by the way, we do have some surprise travel that came up on us. So next week, we will be diverting our live stream to Wednesday. So be sure to join us because it's going to be early, because Friday, unfortunately, we will not be here. And that would be a bad time if you showed up at 2:30 p.m. and I'd feel like a bad person for not pre-warning you.
And maybe if enough people ask for it, we can change the Friday live stream to me just juggling inanimate objects of your choice.
LN2 tanks.
Got it.
They're not that heavy if they're empty.
It's okay. I'll live. I might, I might fractionally heal or two, but that's no big deal.
That's never happened before.
Nope, never. First time for everything.
Okay, now speaking of Skylake X, Intel also showed something else.
They did?
A 28-core high-end CPU.
They did show it?
Well, they showed a demo of Cinebench running on a system using...
No sneaky, I mean sneak peek?
Well, there was something sneaky going on. A lot of people, the internet, I'm sure most of you watching have seen the internet go like kind of implosion on this, because normally people blow up at AMD, and it's kind of interesting to watch how quickly pitchforks come out on the internet. And well...
but what could be greater than 28 cores, Mr. Robb?
Well, we'll get to that. But what's great is they demoed a 28 core at 5 gigahertz. The only problem was they didn't mention that it was overclocked, and a lot of people are showing issue with that. I don't necessarily think, I mean, obviously if you look at anyone who looked at the Cinebench screenshot saw that it was a 2.7 gigahertz base clock. There's no way they're pushing almost a 2-time speed increase via turbo, so it's obvious it was overclocked. The thing I wish they would have came out and said was, hey, you know, we're overclocking this and we're sub-ambient cooling, since they use like a 1,000 watt aquarium chiller.
Seems legit. To
chill the water just to get 5 gigahertz. And I think because everyone knew Threadripper was going to be announced the following day, so they threw that thing out there. And not just that, but it's a 28-core chip. And if you look at the mounting mechanism from the photos and everything they showed, it's a P3 socket. It's a server, a Xeon Scalable socket. So that means literally they unlocked like an 8180 or something, like an Intel Xeon chip, $10,000 CPU, which, by the way, GG, because I'm not, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a Skylake X, and that was a hell of a hurt on the pocket. I know you know that, Joe, because you have one too. And imagine how much a 10K rebrand Xeon for enthusiasts would be. If it's truly the 10K.
I'd say in the ballpark of 2 or more.
You got to think 7880XE is $2,000.
Yeah.
This is now a 28 core.
That's me speaking from like a sales strategic standpoint. Like if they were wise, that would be the price point. Does that actually mean that that's what they're going to do? Probably not.
Who knows if this product even sees the light of day? The thing I feel like was this was to put a big hush on the Threadripper 2 launch, in my opinion.
Probably.
I feel like this was something to say, hey, look what we did. We did this thing.
It didn't work.
They put it out there. Well, that's when we saw the tubing going up. Remember, you looked at that. There was foam going around it, and that's what's used for cooling, for subambient cooling to keep condensation away.
That's the insulation.
And so a lot of people were wise to that, and I guess Intel assumed people wouldn't see it or what have you.
Or maybe they were just cocky and arrogant.
Or that.
That'll only get you so far.
Yeah, it will. But at the end of the day, I think this is something where they expected just to pull the wind out of the sails for it, because when you demo this kind of setup where it has a very specific board, and because originally when, you remember we saw Supermicro at CES, and we saw a board that strangely listed TDP of 300 watts.
Yeah, when we asked them about it, they were like, next subject.
Yeah, they were like, oops, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. And we're like, okay, something's coming.
Must be a mistake. You must have been mistaken.
But that was X299. So my question was like, how do we cool it? Now, when we look at it, it's socket P. It's LGA 3647. So it's got like twice as many, or almost twice as many pins.
And one CPU cooler.
Yeah, one really cold CPU cooler.
Well, Intel CPU cooler. Right here.
And this is the board that, as you see right next to my head, and I forgot we were showing this, but this is by Asus. This thing has a massive VRM, and Gigabyte also had one in their booth that was a 28-phase VRM, and it's capable of delivering over 1,000 watts. Joe, you're holding that motherboard real well, I gotta say. So, as you could see, that thing has active cooling. This is the one they actually showed that wasn't at 5 gigahertz, obviously, because I don't think that on regular liquid cooling you'd get anywhere close to that. They top bin the chip they used, obviously, for this.
I feel like Intel would have gotten a little more credit if they would have just used a fridge as a case.
I feel like if they were straight about it, if they had someone out there with like an LN2 container, and they're like, yeah, we're going to bench this on LN2 and show you what it can do, I would have a lot more respect for that.
Sure.
But it's like they rolled it out in a desktop case, like as if it was something you could run.
Or if they're really cool, they would have just quietly given it to like a selected few individuals that do that for a living in competitions, and have it fuel and power the competition between 5 people, we'll say.
That would be great. I think that would actually be I think that would be an outstanding idea. I think that's something that they could have done, and maybe, maybe they'll learn a lot from this, and that's something we're going to discuss here shortly. Is when it comes this board, this thing is insane. It's literally a hodgepodge. It's like a gigantic. You've seen SSI CEB boards, those gigantic things that don't fit a case.
Yeah,
in most cases. Both of them, the Gigabyte one and this one. The Gigabyte one had a VRM. I wish I was joking, Joe. It was almost a foot long when you look at it. It has this gigantic long cooler with like 4 fans on it.
Sounds like they're compensating for something.
Well, they're compensating for something. We'll talk about that shortly.
Sure.
So, bye-bye, hold on. Bye-bye, Asus. Come on, Joe. We got to pop the bubble. Ready? Oh, almost. That was perfect.
Delayed bubble pop.
Brooks on that. We're good.
Delayed bubble pop. Delayed bubble pop.
So then we had something, shortly after, there was the Intel 2nd Gen Threadripper launch. But Intel, after this happened, which we'll discuss shortly, Intel pulled all of their 28-core demos from the show floor post the Threadripper 2nd Gen launch.
Why would they do such a thing?
Our friend Ian Cutress, actually the guy you met at the ASRock booth at CES,
they do that?
He took a picture of Intel literally making people rush away. Like they had 20 minutes to pull these off the show floor. And mind you, this was the day after, the morning, very first thing after Threadripper launched.
How do you think that would go? Like, as an Intel representative approaching booths, like, hey, can I see that real quick? Yeah, when are you going to give it back? We're not. Like, I need you to bring it to this point.
Yeah, like you're just taking it down.
Like, well, we kind of need, no, I don't care for your excuses. Just hand over our property. But you gave it to me, not anymore.
Yeah, it's like, they spend all this, you got to figure, how much money you think, because we know we discussed like motherboard layouts. How much time do you think they spent building that just monstrosity of a board to run that?
Right, and not to mention, imagine the people that could have just potentially set up their booth space centered around that Intel solution just for Intel to rip it away. Like, sorry that you spent tens of thousands of dollars for booth space at Computex. Give us the product that you came here to showcase.
Yeah, like something that was one of your highlights you showed there. I mean, I'm sure you saw multiple people, actually, I just was watching it a day or so ago, as they put it up, because Asus actually put it up after the show had already started. After Intel had shown it, then Asus put it up.
Yep.
And then Gigabyte put it up. So all of a sudden, the video reviewers are like, holy crap, here it is. Like Paul's Hardware did it. Stephen Burke basically blew up on Intel about how this is a complete crock.
Yeah.
And I got to give him respect because At the end of the day, they didn't come out. They didn't even mention the CPU was like overclocked.
No.
And that seems kind of like you said, compensating. I mean,
a little bit. And you know what? I just have to point out, even though it's semi-irrelevant, but do you think the behavior here from Intel, as far as I'm seeing, it's kind of falling into a similar category to the reason as to why we decided not to compete in the Intel Extreme Rig Challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It lines up semi-perfectly.
I actually love that you brought that up because that's a very fair point and something to think about. It's like when we decided not to be, I mean, not being in the rig challenge is a very, very large decision. It's not something that you just make willy-nilly.
It also sucked majorly for us. Like that was something I looked forward to since the start of it.
Oh, we were excited as hell to do
it. The individuals that we've grown to know and work with, we looked forward to working with them every single year in the rig challenge. So for us to have to say no, and I choose that word very specifically, have to say no, it hurt.
They didn't really give us a choice. And I don't want to say like Intel said you can't compete. They didn't give us a choice based on the stipulations that were there. I feel like
no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I understand that in business, you know, you scratch one's back, they'll scratch yours in return. It just started to feel a lot like, hey, here's what you can do for us, and here's only what we're willing to do for you. And when that one thing that they would do for you was to just let you build a system to the best of your ability and talk about it to the people that would show interest, and that's kind of taken away from you a bit, you just ask yourself why. What's the point? There is no point. Only Zool.
Everything is pointless. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I waited for it. By the way, what's up, Alfonso? Sean,
hey, Alfonso.
Sean wanted to make sure we had a shout out for Kyle Sucks. So, good job, Sean.
Can we maybe just stop picking on Kyle, because the next thing we know, he's going to not be here anymore, and
it'll be all your fault, Sean.
He'll go missing, and he'll enter depressive rage, and he will likely attempt to burn your house down, Sean. So you should be careful.
So now you guys see what it's like to work here.
It's fun stuff. Now we're all a big family. We can joke with each other and really say a whole lot without a whole lot of consequence.
For the most part. For the most part. I'm sure we're talking to people after every live stream pretty much at this point.
Yep.
Now I do got to say one thing I wanted to make a point of, and this is in my notes. Thank goodness. Otherwise I probably would have rolled right off my brain because I'm a goldfish. I've worked at Computex for various other companies, and basically, pulling a demo like this out of Computex is not an easy choice or one that just anyone can make at a drop of a hat. It comes from high ups to come down. So that means that came out of the show floor for a very specific reason. And I feel like the Threadripper launch, which we have 2 topics below this, I feel like is a big part of that. And I feel like they thought they were going to pull a sneaky one and kind of just get the jump on them. And people caught them. And I'm hoping maybe this makes for better product reveals or better product sneak peeks going forward. I hope maybe by luck they will learn a lesson.
We hope so.
The Mundy guilt trip.
Yes, you hit the nail right on the head there.
Okay.
You're not wrong. So I just want to make a point to respond to a comment on YouTube from Delano. Delano was hesitant from buying from us because he hears bad things like systems arriving damaged, terrible customer service, lack of options to ship directly to him. So I'm assuming you're probably international. And yeah, we did tap on that a couple of live streams ago that we are limited.
Delano, I would like to know where you're from, because that is interesting, since Joe's actually the guy that can answer that question.
I can answer that question. And to kind of tap on, hearing bad things, I'm sure you have heard bad things. Just like I've heard bad things about really any company that I've worked with, re Amazon, Newegg, our competitors. I would be lying if I said that we were a perfect company, because no company is perfect. And what I feel like we are very strong in is problem resolution. To me, as a consumer, I like to do business with the companies that are not perfect, but the companies that know when they do wrong and know when to do right by their customers. And I personally make sure, as sales and support manager, to always do right by our customers in that regard. So have systems showed up damage before? Yeah, they absolutely have. And we make sure we take care of our customers through the incredible relationship we have with FedEx. And as far as lack of customer service, you're always welcome to reach out to me directly if you have a problem. As much as I would like to say that we're on point 24/7.
He's in Jamaica.
Jamaica? Okay, yeah. So
yeah, that could
don't ship from Jamaica, and I wish we did, because Jamaica's a cool country.
But it could eventually come out. I mean, this is something we could work towards.
And again, even though you do not see it listed on our site, that does not mean we're not willing to work with you. So if you really want a system from us, Delano, sales@aviadirect.com is our contact information. reach out to us, and we can work with our FedEx representative to make sure that we get shipping set up directly to you.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. But the thing is, and I do got to agree with Joe, because I've seen some very special cases come through when, like, you know, things sometimes go sideways. Any company you deal with, you're going to have the occasional edge case where things happen. That's life. I mean, I hate to compare this to pizza, but how many times have you had a pizza show up where, like, the dude slammed on the brakes and your pizza's like smashing inside the box?
I mean,
that can't be only me.
No, it's not only you, and that's certainly happened to me. And again, just to kind of preface back on what I was stating in customer satisfaction, we'll always make sure that we fix what needs to be fixed. Even if your experience wasn't perfect the first time, we'll make sure that it's perfect the second. All you have to do is communicate to us. Give us the chance to provide you with the experience that you as a potential or actual customer deserves, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
Simple.
And by the way, Delano did ask, did we get the limited edition chip? We actually have them on the way. They might even be here now. I'm not sure because I haven't checked with the girl who's in charge of all of our stock. What's wrong?
I'm excited about this chip. I'm sorry.
So am I.
I may actually try to buy one myself.
I'm definitely planning on it. I got yelled at by the person who handles our stock because I wanted to buy one.
Who is that person?
That's my wife.
Good.
I got yelled at. I'm like, hey, I want this. And she goes, how much is it? And I'm like, no.
Can we put like a percentage counter on these live streams that show, like, with every comment Shannon makes, he either digs himself a deeper grave with the hubby or, like, the couch grows bigger?
I'm going to work on it.
Okay. Awesome.
I feel like
you the MVP.
Brooke's the real MVP, I tell you.
That's right. Not this LeBron fella.
Well, isn't he, like, leaving? I think. I don't keep up with basketball.
Wouldn't you if you were the only person running an entire team all by yourself?
Well, yeah, my back hurts, so I probably wouldn't want to carry all of them. But then again, I can't play basketball to save my life.
Yeah, I can't either.
So that's a very unfortunate thing.
I grew up on baseball. That was my shtick.
Well, on football, but yeah, same thing. Well, not really. Actually, it's completely different.
I mean, there's a bat in baseball.
Yeah, but well, I'm not going to go into the semantics of it.
No.
I feel like this is going down a rabbit hole
Please don't.
Please end me.
Please, Gooby.
Please don't do this.
Why you do this, Gooby?
So I got a question for you guys that are watching. How do you feel about, because a lot of people are like super upset or really are kind of angry about the way Intel showed this chip, and I don't think it's necessarily a problem had they been a little more upfront about how it was represented, but I don't feel like the pitchforks need to come out and everyone needs to like demonize Intel for it. I feel like it just was one of those things where maybe it might have been last minute because suddenly, I mean, I can't imagine they didn't know it wouldn't be Threadripper 2 wouldn't be shown. Right. Maybe they hodgepodge something together and they just had to get it out, and the guy speaking maybe just made a slip and didn't mention it. I mean, that seems kind of weird, but I mean, you and I both know getting 5 gigahertz on existing Skylake X silicon, let alone a Xeon-based one like a scalable chip, we know that's not going to happen on any reasonable cooling.
Right.
So I knew that straight as soon as I saw it. I'm like, yeah, they're doing something with that, before even seeing the pictures. And then I went in and saw that obviously it was running. I assumed, I didn't realize it was an aquarium chiller until later when they showed it. When I saw the tubing going up, I figured it was some sort of single stage or cascade unit that was keeping it, you know, who knows, maybe 50 to 70 C below. And it was going to run great, but I mean, it's still not realistic use case for almost any of our customers.
Yeah, and
or most 99% of the world.
Chad makes a good point. He says it's not so much that he thought it was Intel, but perhaps the way that the media presented it.
Well, that's the other part. Some media literally, the other problem was some media grabbed onto it, didn't even look into the details, said, oh, Intel's demoing a 5 gigahertz chip. And it's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
5 gigahertz 28 core. No, they're not. That's not how this works.
No, I'm afraid not, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man, Chris actually made a good point. And this is something I was trying to say: is one person had a bad experience with Extreme Edge case equals we should all hate and not buy from AVA, and they are a crap company. Okay, this is the world we live in now, and that's the thing. Sometimes that does happen. Everyone reads the comments, and they don't realize. Like for instance, let's say we sell 100,000 computers, and you see some glaring, just glowing, great reviews, and like 1 or 2 really bad ones.
Right.
We all know we consume bad information. Our brain holds on to that. So you go in Newegg, what's the first thing you do? You look at the lowest egg count and go, holy crap, what's that? You know, what problems did they have?
One of the first statistics that I learned being in sales a long, long time ago is that statistically, you have almost a 300% chance of hearing from somebody who has a bad experience and they do good. So that means when you see all the negative reviews and all the positive reviews, if you got a product that has more positive reviews to negative, there's significantly even more people that had a positive experience that just decided it wasn't worth a review. You're 5 times more likely, 3 to 5 times more likely to post a bad review than you are post a positive review about your experience. Because us as consumers, we feel like everything is expected to work. We don't understand the value of the cost of materials which go into the final product, which then translates into the price point. I would be lying to you if I said that I had not heard before that I've spent X amount of dollars on this PC, I expect it to be perfect. And to have the unfortunate and painful discussion of explaining that, yes, well, I do understand $500 is a lot of money. That doesn't necessarily guarantee a quality product. Like, it is the harsh truth. And I dislike having to say and explain that to people, but that's the world we live in the world of electronics. It's just how it is.
What's up, Lawrence? Yeah, I feel like sometimes, I mean, but honestly, we have the same feeling when we disconnect ourselves from what we do here. When you buy something, you always want it to be the best it can be, and then when you get it, I mean, how many times have you bought something like, wow, that's a great deal from Amazon? And then you go, wow, this thing's a pile of crap.
Right.
And you're like, wow, that really sucks. Mm-hmm. So that's something I guess people really do have to kind of keep in mind is, we are humans. We do an exceptional job at building systems. We do an exceptional job at customizing and building really cool hardtube and all kinds of different systems. As you will see if you look at our YouTube, at our newly launched AVADirect series, we are going to start taking a look at some of the systems, including some of the more basic ones, just to show you some of the crazy stuff we do.
Golf clap? Golf? All right, slow clap.
We're working on growing the channel. Leave me alone.
I tried.
This is what I deal with. This right here is what I deal with.
I'm just an awful human being, man. This is only a fourth of my personality that you see. You should see the other 3/4.
Oh, the other 3/4 we can't bring on camera.
No, that's for a very special crowd of people.
I can't even.
You know who you are.
So, there's one more Intel thing from Computex, and I feel like we've almost, at this point, talked about this to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
I feel like
my mind is deteriorating slowly.
Optaned out. But I do got to say, the reason I'm mentioning this, Intel unveiled the Optane 905P. It's an M2.
905P!
M.2 form factor. Finally, this is something people have been asking about.
Ooh, look at that form factor.
So this. Now, they haven't announced which form factor it is, but I have a sneaking suspicion I know what it is, being the fact that AVADirect, being the awesome people they are, leaked some info on one of their boards when they put the picture of their board up saying it supports the new Optane when the 905 launched, and they showed a, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Apparently, mine has a different chat. Hey, Kevin, you might want to join the other chat. We can't see you. Kevin is like, he's just...
I just keep seeing the notifications. Like, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So Kevin has commented 14 times, thank you, Kevin, on me sharing this video. He probably should join us over here so we can actually see what he's saying.
I'm assuming that when he said, hey, man, he's referring to the guy that was from Jamaica. Down by the beach.
Let's see.
Wow.
So with the 905P, AVADirect did show a picture saying their board was 905P M2 ready. I don't know if it's still up, but it showed it fitting in the 22110 slot, which is the long one that normally only has like server grade, like it's a little longer than like the 960 Pro, 960 Evo.
Yeah.
And right now it comes at about 320 gig, I think. So now you can get the 905P performance.
That's not bad.
Like we showed on our video recently. A really awesome QD1 performance.
It's got better memory support. So, I mean, if you get to pick a chipset.
Memory support?
It says.
905, no, you're looking at something else.
It's Friday.
Joe just, yeah, so that just happened.
I did a thing.
That just happened.
Yes, John, we do have many games we're excited about. We're going to talk about it at the end of the live stream, so stay tuned!
Yeah, we've got another section for that. But it's great because
Butter memory support.
Chris just, you totally screwed me up on that. I can't even. Chris Toft, Kevin's brother, just said, I can't believe I have to buy a new PC because Bluehole refuses to optimize their game.
Oh,
Joe
welcome to America!
Joe and I have Titan XPs, right?
Yep.
Titan XPs. Guess what game, the only game in our library that does not run super well?
Fortnite.
No, Fork Knife runs on a toaster.
Fortnite runs on my thumb. Shove my thumb right up in there.
Oh, never mind. I'm not going to simulate that. We'll just keep going. So
I'm sorry. Did you just say?
God, now I sound like Muttley laughing. Like, damn it. Butter memory support. Oh, Fort G. I just can't. So, basically, 905 now comes in M2 form factor. I think that's enough said about that. It is what it is. So now, getting back to why Intel pulled that 28-core demo is we can only assume. We have no information. Once again, this is speculation. But AMD unveiled 2nd Gen Threadripper.
And that's where there's better memory support.
That's where the butter memory support came from. So
I can't believe it's not memory.
I hate you.
It's okay. I'm okay with this.
So basically, Threadripper 2, I'm assuming that Intel figured they were going the next step past 16, so they're going to go 24 cores. They're like, cool, we're going to put a 28 core and go 5 gigahertz and F you AMD. And AMD's like,
harsh. Whoa.
And AMD's like, hey, check this out.
Look at this.
32 cores. And everyone's just kind of like, well, that just happened.
Yeah.
And they did their demo on air on a retail cooler that you can buy for your Threadripper.
They should have added salt to the wound by using like mustard as a thermal paste.
Or just go, hold on, we can overclock too, and just point like an AC unit right at their system.
Or cooling it with a sock filled of pennies.
Where do you come up with this? I gotta
just something that would, as Intel, be like, wow, we got beat by AMD's, not only their processor, but they cooled it with a sock full of pennies, and we had to use LN2.
Or like you just have a cold whiskey and you just, little for you, little for me.
You could,
or
just like they just unzip a banana for everybody and they go, observe, and just smash
banana
it.
For scale.
Yeah, and it just cools it like 10
I feel like we
cooler.
both just slammed right on this beautiful new table.
Sorry, Brooke.
Sorry, Shannon or Brooke. Yeah, Shannon did this.
Sorry, Shannon.
This wonderful display you guys see. Remember that boring gray one we had before? This awesomeness is thanks to Shannon back. The other Shannon, not me, Shannon. The other one. The one behind the scenes.
Next live stream, we're going to feature the table.
Because it's probably more entertaining and less sarcastic.
Yep.
I'm dead inside.
I love life.
So, Threadripper 2nd Gen is 12 nanometer Zen Plus. I reached out to my friends at AMD, and they kind of laughed at me and said, haha, what you know is what you get. So they wouldn't give me any more information. I'm like, hey guys, here's what I'm going to talk about. And well, I can't blame them. I mean, they're internally bound by what they can share.
And not to mention, like, that they're doing it right then, because they're obviously throwing Intel through the ringer in several occasions. So they're able to keep their secrets internal, and that seems to be working for them right now. So I give them mad respect for the discipline they have in that regard.
I love this. I love this. But Fortnite, and I love that you replied to it. But Fortnite is a garbage game for other reasons. You are not wrong.
I mean, honestly, if they updated Fortnite to just have like a garbage simulator where you're a garbage man and you just pick up things along the battlefield.
Are the things the other players?
Yeah, I would play that. Kind of like visceral cleaning detail.
Oh yeah, visceral cleanup detail. Yeah, that's awesome.
I would play Fortnite Garbage Simulator 2.0. Absolutely.
I feel like then you'd have to be like, oh, I can't even make that reference because I'm too old.
Yeah.
There was like an old movie, Men at Work, where you're garbage men. I feel like that's a reference we shouldn't make.
For some reason, that immediately brought to mind Alley Cat from DOS.
We're going down a hill really quick here, folks.
A hole that we can't come up from.
So 12 nanometers Zen Plus. Now, obviously, this is all speculation because I couldn't get all my friends. Thanks, Chris, and all you guys, and James Pryor. You guys were awesome for replying to me and telling me not a chance in hell you'd share any more information. And I can't blame you because if I was in your position, I would laugh at me too. But I have to ask.
You'll get yours anyway. Just you wait.
Well, those are the same people that last week when I posted the teaser of our notes that you can see right here.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it needs more Ryzen. So I'm like, here's more Ryzen. I need more information. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Sweet. Needs more cowbell. Well, give me a cowbell. I don't have one. Okay, then.
Let's see. Delano, can you explain how Intel Optane increases speed of hard drive and how fast it will be compared to an SSD? Okay, that is a largely varying question. Basically, Intel Optane uses similar to a caching algorithm. It picks up hot data and it makes it just fast as what you'd have an on-Optane SSD. Now, obviously, if you have things like games, you can cache a storage drive, and it will work similar to similar to a SSD in most every case. In other words, faster loading times, faster opening times. I've been able to exhibit that in things like Photoshop or even larger games that have a limitation on loading time. Something like World of Warcraft, I don't play it, but when I tested it, just launching it repeatedly, launching off of a hard drive can take upwards of, which is kind of sad for a game that's been around over 10 years.
What he means is launching off a hard drive can waste half of your life.
Yes, you could go make a coffee, which I have coffee, that's why I
Go
bought
to
it.
making a coffee.
You could make food and probably go put your kids to bed, take a shower, come back, and it might be loaded.
Except, you know, in most realistic cases, you put your kids to bed, you're too tired to even do what you wanted to do anyway, so you end up just passing out on the floor.
I could see that happening. You seem like you had a little experience with that.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's not like you have any young children at home or anything.
No, nope.
So with that being said, it basically, compared to an SSD, if you have a full-fledged SSD, obviously every single thing is going to load as fast as the SSD will go. But an Intel Optane gives you a reasonably priced caching solution if you use Optane memory. Otherwise, if you're using just an Optane SSD, it's going to be much faster for everything on that drive. And as I was saying with like World of Warcraft, you could cut the loading time by up to 6 to 7 times the speed. So in other words, let's say just theoretically it took a minute, it would take you about 8 to 9 seconds to load in comparatively. Same thing with Photoshop. For loading Photoshop off an SSD, as some of the people watching here like Kevin can tell you, when we upgraded him to SSD, it was probably the most insane update he ever had, loading Photoshop in minutes versus seconds. And I'm sure Brooke can tell you the same thing because she deals with Photoshop and all that crap, and loading off SSD is amazing.
Furdershirp?
Furdershirp.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I caught the tail end of Chris Toff's last reply where he said PUBG might actually kill him in real life. Like, I can agree, man. Except for me, it wouldn't have been life killing me. It was my wife killing me. So.
I love this. But his whole comment, though. The last games that ruined my life were...
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yeah.
Yep. And the first Gran Turismo.
And ruined your life? Dude, that was like one of the best times of my life,
But hold on,
dude.
let's read the rest. And the first Gran Turismo, sacrificing food, sleep, friends, etc. Yeah. Rocket League came close to taking the mantle in that regard, but PUBG might actually kill me in real life.
Yeah.
It could, because we have omitted a lot of things in our life to play PUBG sometimes, I think.
I mean, it's not even just that. It's Shannon will remember this clear as day, but when he told me that the game came out and how much fun it was, I told him I'm not going to do it. And it wasn't for the reasons of me not being interested. It's because I have an addictive personality. So if I get into something I really like, I will not be able to stop. That's why I enjoyed playing mostly single-player games with the campaign, because there is a forced end to a story. End of story, move on to the next one. I'll always play video games. It's just a matter of which one. Then enter me playing PUBG. Put about 700 hours in that game so far, roughly. And I have not played a single one of my single-player campaign games. I'm still playing Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
And how much progress have you made?
I'm probably about 14 hours in, and it was released last year.
Yeah, I keep wanting to join other games, and then like I'll hop in, and like you or Chad will be there, and I'll be like, hey, you want to play PUBG? Yeah. What were you gonna do? I don't know. I forgot.
It's honestly, and the reason why I like PUBG so much is you can get in the groove really well and you can be very good at the game, but there's always going to be unknown elements to it that throw you through the loop that could even make some of the most skilled players play horribly a few matches in a row. And that's what I like about it. Everybody starts off on an even keel, and it's really up to chance, depending on where you land, to find loot and do your thing. There's been several times I've found 2 drops in a row, one being an OM and then one being an AUG, and I'm armed up and suited and ready to go. And then I get sniped from like 200 meters away, and I haven't even fired a single shot.
Because reasons.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's one thing PUBG could make better is get rid of the damn hackers that we've seen, and I blame for how bad I am, but that's okay.
Chad is not very appreciative of the fact that you're blaming him and I for the fact that you play PUBG so much.
Wow. Chris just said, I played last weekend from 11 p.m. Saturday night until 12 p.m. noon the next day.
I'm jealous.
I think we've pulled some pretty long ones, but I don't know if we've... Wait.
Oh, I'm super jealous. Like, if I could do that without adult consequence, I probably would do it.
Yeah, we have that adulting thing going on, but like I end up getting stuck going shopping, and you end up taking care of kids.
The last time I talked to you, you said you really love those shopping trips. Like, you live for them.
Yes, it's my favorite thing. You know, actually, I do got to say, if it ever comes down to an alibi, I can definitely say I spend time with my wife because it's all documented. Now, Delano had a good question, and this is kind of going off topic, but do you think Intel will really release a GPU? If yes, do you think it's a good thing? We actually discussed this a few weeks ago on our live stream, and I think it's a great thing. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. If Intel is even close, if Intel is like an in-between between AMD and NVIDIA in terms of performance, I'll probably give them a shot.
That's honestly. If it's gaming grade. If it's not, which we talked about, that's one thing, Delano. We did mention that they could be going after the cash cow in the room, so to speak, which is vertical. You know, it's a large business data processing where you're offloading GPU. You're doing strictly computation. They've already done that with Xeon Phi, with Knight's Landing and all that stuff. They've done that.
No, I think it's going to be awesome.
I hope they do a gaming grade GPU because more competition is always welcome. And
healthy for competition.
They're a semiconductor company. They have their own fabs. So spinning up a new GPU is literally, I don't want to say flipping a switch. It's not that easy, but they could put something out there that could blow the doors off everything. And that's great for all of us and all of you, anyone who's going to buy a system or build one.
It'd be pretty badass if they had a card ready to spin up and go by Christmas and it was in the shape of a gingerbread man. Just saying. Or Halloween and a pumpkin.
I'm more with you with Halloween and pumpkin.
No, so you're so excited and blown away by that idea you don't even know what to say.
I'm at a loss for words. I guess that's the best way I could put this. What's wrong with you?
Wrong question. The right question is what's right with me.
I guess it's a shorter list.
You know what? Quality over quantity, bro.
But to finalize out the second gen Threadripper thing, let's once again steer this train back on the tracks because you can steer trains after all. The AMD Threadripper 2 was shown running on air on a cooler designed by Cooler Master that will be retail available. So that means it was shown on a real cooling solution you could actually buy and apply to your Threadripper.
And that's awesome. If they showed it, why not just like collaborate and just make it what you get with the CPU?
Well, because they want to give people options because a lot of people they know will go liquid cooling. So why bundle a big air cooler with a CPU that's going to add cost to the CPU when people could opt to buy it?
That's a really good idea, though, because that's something I don't think we've seen. We've had heatsink manufacturers collaborate with stock coolers, i.e. the Intel Extreme cooler, but we've never had anybody like do bundle deals. Like, hey, Cooler Master is the provider of our CPU cooler that comes with this specific unlock processor. It's pretty good value. It's something to think about.
When I was working at Thermaltake, we actually were working on something like that with AMD with the original Ryzen launch. And then I came here.
Are you sure you're allowed to say that?
It's already passed.
No one's going to come after you?
And if they do, I don't care. That's fine. So, who's ready to talk about the GPUs you're not getting?
Not me!
Because NVIDIA, during Jensen's keynote speech, said next-gen GPUs will not be seen for a long time.
But even though there's rumors that, you know...
I feel like at this point, they're just deflecting because they don't want to commit. I feel like they want to keep...
So NVIDIA has commitment issues. NVIDIA would be a very, very bad boyfriend or girlfriend.
Oh, good.
Horrible.
So I feel like is it really going to be a long wait? I doubt it.
No.
I really do. I think this is simply a tactic to mask
They're going to wait until they get caught with their pants down around their ankles and be like, oh, look at GPU! Guaranteed.
So basically...
This happened with the 200 series cards when they were first coming out.
Well, the thing is, there was rumors a long time ago. I can't even remember, so I'm just going to say off the top of my head, roughly, that it was said, like, we don't need to, this was a while back. I'll have to look back. I don't want to necessarily misstate it, but I'm pretty sure it was said, or it was at least quoted at some point, someone had coined it that NVIDIA was coined saying that, like, when they asked about, hey, was this coming out? It was said, like, hey, there's no need to put one out right now. I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's been so much leaked information that it's not... I'm pretty sure they probably have something in the waiting in the wings, so to speak. They're just waiting to see. I think, once again, this is all subjective. It's my opinion. I think probably your similar opinion, because we discussed it. Is they're waiting to see what comes out from their ed side. They're waiting to see what 7 nanometer is going to do, and then they know how they have to stagger everything accordingly.
Which could be their downfall, because if a competitor releases a product that already grabs a lot of the market share instantaneously, and if they create a lot of buyers' confidence in their own product, that could be bad. Like you're playing, it's a poker game essentially, or more accurate representation, it's a chess game. And they could be making the wrong move here. But, you know, NVIDIA's a big boy, and they put their big boy pants on, so we'll see what happens.
I feel like if NVIDIA, I don't know, maybe strategically they just don't want to seem like they're just crushing the competition, because who knows, there could be legal parts to that, kind of like a monopoly. If you're destroying the competition, there's potential antitrust could come into play. So there's a lot there that could be considered.
Or, and this is a big or, but what if they had already scheduled what the next year is going to be like with GPP implementation, and now that that's not happening, what do we do?
This is a very fair point. That's a fair point. But see, the thing is, we're still coming to a point where we're still coming to a point where we don't know 100% of the details. We know what the speculation was of what GPP was, which would have an effect on how GPU releases happened. So it could be that now that is potentially dead, that maybe that's what's maybe putting a pin in the balloon, so to speak, with what they're doing. And now they're trying to come up with a different strategy, and that's another potential one. Or it is simply based on the fact that they don't feel they have a need to retire Pascal yet, because there's still a huge demand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we sell systems every day based on Pascal. So it's obvious people need PCs, they need good graphics cards. There's nothing to compete with it. Now that's not saying, like we said earlier, Intel. Intel could drop a card out there and boom, it's just done. Now Delano, he is a huge resource for questions. So is the difference between 240mm and 360mm fan worth it for the price of a 360mm fan? I'm assuming he means radiator.
He's radiator, and here's my question to your question. Are we talking all-in-one liquid cooling, or are we talking full custom?
Because even then, is it worth it? It really depends what you're using it for. If you're using it at stock, a 120 for most chips will do just fine.
I mean, you could even do an 80 if that existed.
I think a 92 does, but I don't know if an 80 does.
80 does. The last manufacturer to do an 80 was the same one that did the jet black radiators way back in the day.
Like the black ice, the little guys, those little dual.
Danger Den made the 80, I think.
Oh, was it?
You remember Danger Den?
Yeah.
The barbs were built into the radiator, man.
Yeah,
they
that
were
was
built
good stuff.
Right.
And when you chew them up, you're screwed. It's like, oh, we're dead.
I'm going to take it to a mechanic and say you're a welder.
He said AIO closed loop. Okay.
No difference.
Well, no. If you're overclocking, there's a little bit. There's some thermal dissipation there.
I urge you to look up Mr. Chad Sebring's review from Tweaktown on the Corsair 150i Pro. That
is different, though, because I actually talked to him with that, and that thing was a, I don't want to say flaming dumpster fire, but it's not far from it. That thing, they went over, and Chad will verify this in chat, I'm sure, in a second. Basically, what happened was, Corsair released this cooler, and they're like, everyone likes silent systems. Let's make a silent cooler. Guess what silent is? Not performance. Silent is not performance. It's the exact converse.
But that's something I feel like a couple of degrees at best. Yeah, see? And that's kind of, I think they should have amplified that message a little bit better, because people tend to look at things that are bigger and associate that they're going to do whatever it is that they intend to do for it.
Do you know what that compares to? Graphics cards, SLI scaling. Two-way cards, yeah, you get a nice bump. Three-way cards, good luck. Four-way cards, yeah, you're screwed. You wasted money.
Didn't used to be that way, man. One of the first PCs I ever played on when I started working in 2008 was what we called an internal crisis killer, and it was 4 8800 GTXs.
Was that the one of the picture with you and like Mike and them sitting there by it?
No. That was when the
big shiny crazy thing.
That was from when the 800 series graphics cards only came out for notebooks, and we were testing Battlefield 4.
Oh, okay.
Or Battlefield 3, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so basically with the next-gen GPUs, just to get us back on course again, because
on to the course!
Us diverting from the topics is not an uncommon thing. Now, the other thing he did ask real quick is memory speed versus cache latency and RAM. Which matters most, and what speed would you recommend? Memory speed, it really depends on platform, man. I mean, 3200, and once you get higher than 3200, 3600, you're going to start, you're talking marginal gains, if any. And I'm sure plenty of people can verify that. You're talking like nothing. It's not going to be a big difference.
No, memory doesn't make a difference for gaming at all, like a fraction of a frame rate.
Memory speed versus cache latency, those two don't really correlate. I mean,
no, cache latency comes from the old...
I think maybe he meant cache latency.
Yeah, because cache latency...
Because he put cache, that's what scared me.
Cache latency is something from like the old school days of computing.
No, CL's still there. CL like 99924, wait, 99924, that'd be like DR3.
No, but, I mean like it's the relevance, I mean. It doesn't make as much of a difference as it used to.
Actually, if you some memory kits, like for instance, perfect example is Chad was testing the 4600s. If you downed them to like 30, I think he said 3800, 3600, and cranked down the timings on it, you could actually get not much better, better performance than having the really high speed at the loose like 26 cast latency.
Well, were they specific benchmarks that translated that performance?
Of course, but in real world performance, anything cast latency or memory speed is going to be marginal unless you're going from like 2133 to 3200. You're not going to see a massive difference.
Right.
So I mean, it's just what it is. Now back onto our topic for next gen GPUs. The fact that GDDR6 is in mass production, this is something I actually discussed with Stephen Burke, and I actually asked him if it was okay if I referenced it, because this is one thing me and him have discussed at length, is the fact that it's already been communicated. GDDR6 is being focused on, obviously, they've already said, upcoming GPUs. And being it's in mass production means this places a timeline as far as availability already should be put on cards, Q3, Q4. So that means someone's launching a card.
Do you believe that there is an issue, and do you take issue with the fact that graphics cards are a generation in front of desktops with its memory dies? So we're GDDR5, we have been for a while, now we're about to do GDDR6, but yeah, we're still on DDR4 in system.
Well, I've got a question for you. When have you seen DDR4, anything actually saturate the memory bandwidth that's available that really would need an upgrade?
I haven't.
Whereas the GPU bus is always being saturated by texture fill rate, things like that, or all the data being pushed through. So yeah, I do feel like it's not really a big problem. I don't take issue with it because it's needed. What I don't like is when they push, like for instance, we didn't saturate DDR3 properly. No, and yet we're like, DDR4's here. And it's like, why?
How is it that graphics card technology can saturate bandwidth limits like that, but we can't even do that in desktops with SATA lanes, with PCI Express lanes? There's a difference here.
I just got told that we have 10 minutes left on our normal show.
Oh, cool! We have 2 pages left.
If you guys are cool with hanging around, we're going to keep talking here until all of you guys bail, or until we've got to bail because like someone switches the power off, which could happen.
I mean, we could shut the power off and play some pretty fun games with the camera still on.
But that's if you don't shut the camera power off.
No, just the lights. Let's turn off the lights. It's okay. I don't bite.
Well, there you go. Let's see. So William Johnson brought up a good. He said memory really is only a major issue on AMD systems, not Intel, and that is true because the Infinity Fabric is very sensitive to memory speed / latency. It is extremely dependent on that.
But I'll tell you what, though, if you just follow the good old QVL motherboard manufacturer's recommendations, you're in good shape.
You are, and the thing is, with second gen Zen architecture or Zen Plus, memory has gotten a lot better. So that's a huge plus.
It's just the ceiling for overclocking is still just about the same, though.
Now, with that being said, let's see. Don't forget about GDDR5X. We haven't. William Johnson brought up again. Don't forget about GDDR5X. We haven't even saturated that. So GDDR6 should be something that will be around for a long time. I doubt it. They're probably going to be pushing to HBM. It's just because HBM adoption / availability / architectural engineering, it probably just isn't there yet.
They've already invested the time and energy and the logistics behind manufacturing HBM, and that's the direction everybody's going.
Yeah, I think HBM, because it's directly attached to GPU, is going to be much faster, much better. You're not going through PCB. It's directly attached to the die.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think at least for high-end now, you're going to be seeing HBM coming soon. For future, probably will start to trickle down to other mid-range cards eventually, but it's just something that will come with time, and it's just going to make for better graphical performance because you don't need to push extreme speeds on an IC like you would with GDDR5, GDDR6, where you're pushing crazy speed, trying to tweak it as much as you can, whereas when you have that huge bandwidth pipeline for HBM, it's going to be a huge plus.
Yes.
Now, I do want to show you guys something we've been working on. This is actually a preview of some upcoming testing. So I'm going to come over here to our little test product area. Oh God, I've got to walk around Joe. I'm going to die. So this is a AVADirect Ultra Quad M2. Go away, go away. So your favorite Optane. So we have we actually worked with our friends at AVADirect Ultra Quad M2 cards. So 4 M2 cards would be a bifurcation. Basically, it is taking a slot. So we're going to put this in X16 slot and have four. It's going to split it up into 4 separate sets of lanes for 4 M2 drives. So these are Optane 800Ps. Not 300, it's 128 gigs or something like that. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get these things set up. We're gonna do some testing. We're gonna make a video about this showing how these things scale. I almost said SLI.
I mean, you can, yeah. Slice SLI.
Scale and RAID. We're gonna test it on AMD. We're gonna test it on VROC. We're gonna test all the differences, especially being the extremely good latency of Optane, but also the really high QD1 performance I've been talking about. So I wanted to show you guys, this is kind of what we're working on. This is something you're gonna see in an upcoming video. We're gonna be doing some really awesome stuff with this card and some of this new technology. We've been working with the Intel team to kind of showcase some of this cool stuff. That's why you guys have seen so much of this. I've been kind of pitching them some ideas on what we can do to show off the capability, because one thing is, everyone looks at the price of it, but they don't look at what it can actually do, and I don't think what it can actually do has actually been explained thus far. So we're gonna show how this can fit in some special use cases, such as some of the workstations we build, Joe. I feel like this is something where maybe someone doesn't need a high-end graphics card, but they need a really, really high-speed, high-transaction I/O storage capability. This could be a good solution.
I can say within the last year, I've had at least half a dozen individuals that had an interest in it. More so, I would be interested to know how well this guy does. Because, I mean, you think about it, in most case scenarios, you have boards that have cooling for M.2s, you usually have passive heat sinks on each one. So there's no passive heat sinks here, as you can see, but there's just this little guy sitting here. And
by the way, Joe, flip over the cover.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even
No, flip over the cover. The cover I took off.
I'm going to flip that over, too.
Oh!
Look at that! Well, so then this is likely going to be designed to pull the heat out of the shroud. So. Now everything makes sense when you put it together. What do you get? Bippity-boppity cooling.
Oh, and we're done with that one. that was interesting. Well, that took a nice little drive right off the tracks. Let's see.
And right into a riverbed.
Let's see. So this is actually pretty good because it's a topic we're going to be talking about soon. Not necessarily.
Riverbeds?
No. William Johnson. Okay. When is EK Water Blocks going to make a water block for that thing?
Well, they didn't make a water block for that thing, but they made a water block for the environment.
We'll talk about that here in a moment as well. So another thing shown at Computex, because apparently we have about 4 billion things from Computex to talk about, is an X399 Aorus Extreme motherboard. We didn't even get pictures of it. I've not really had the time to pull it up. It basically looks like it's built for Threadripper 2nd Gen. It's got all copper cooling on the VRM cooler, which is awesome, because one thing is when you're pushing high core count chips like that, as you know, with your system, the VRM takes a punishing.
Oh, it's so hot.
And when you're talking 32 cores...
Like burn your fingers hot.
Ugh. That's why you need monoblock, dude. Monoblock is legit.
I know.
Happy times.
I'm probably going to get ASRock's monoblock.
Yeah, they have one from EK, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, just as long as it doesn't dye the rest of my loop brown.
Not like that happens with EK products at all.
No.
Well, what's wrong with your loop right now, by the way?
Okay, so I'm using a series of plexiblock that EK had changed the material manufacturer of their gasket, and that gasket uses mineral oils to keep it lubricated, and that mineral oil is leaching into my loop, and it's turning my clear tubes brown and adding brown gunky stuff all over my things.
Not to mention the delamination of the nickel plating.
Oh yeah, the nickel was delaminated. It looks like I literally dropped liquid metal inside of my water block, and I just left it there.
Yeah, because good stuff. Yay. Now you guys understand why we do all the testing we do internally and on our own systems, and why we're looking at, like, when we opened up relationships with our new partner, AlphaCool.
We'll definitely be using a lot more AlphaCool products, that's for sure.
Yeah,
if not just for the quality of their products, those guys actually care about building a relationship with a company such as us.
Oh, dude, they're such awesome people. Like, if they were here on this live stream, they would probably be having just as much fun as we are.
Oh, easily.
Except in a really funny language, because they're all like European, and they speak like German.
They're European, but you know.
Well, you remember talking to them. It was hilarious, dude.
No, they were just really inviting, and when we asked them if we could get a few look at a few products up close. They didn't even argue with us. They didn't even ask us for.
There was no like behind closed doors.
Yeah,
They're like, here.
There were no margin talks. There were no quantity talks. It was just, you want to get familiar with their products? We'll send you a care package. And care package they definitely sent.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah,
they outfitted our whole PUBG build without even a second question. I'm like, hey, we're building this. And they're like, here's it's shipped. And I'm like,
didn't even argue.
Okay.
Those are the kinds of companies we want to work with because it's only going to allow us to create exciting and better products for you.
Yeah, it's going to allow us to build way more killer machines. It's going to allow us to knock out some really awesome stuff that, in the future we can make stuff happen. Let's see. Thank God not only was that oil a pain, but the EK monoblock I had leaked and destroyed my $1,200 Titan XP.
There you go, William.
I feel like I'm going to cry on camera right now because I am terrified that that one day my card could die, and seeing that just breaks my heart.
You're going to go home tonight and there's just going to be a puddle of water at the bottom of your case. It's an omen.
What did I do to hurt you?
Not me. It's just the universe telling you.
Thanks, William. When I go home and my card's dead, I'm gonna be messaging you on Bookface. Just saying.
No, what you could do is you could message EK and you can tell them what problem you're having, and they just won't respond to it.
Oh, they'll just be, we redesigned that. It's okay now. Yeah. What about my product?
Things happen. Stuff happens. We don't cover acts of God.
Well, but it's my computer. It's my baby. How am I going to stream to all these wonderful people, and how are we going to play games together if my baby dies?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Can't play from my phone.
That's the risk you took, putting your trust in an EK product.
So,
now that we're done beating the dead horse, which was EK.
Yeah, so back to the Gigabyte stuff. Something else they showed that was very, very odd. They showed some new RGB memory. Guaranteed B-die, which is cool because B-die is awesome. It's Samsung B-die, by the way, for those that don't know. It's very, very good performance memory, crank the voltage, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. But they did something very interesting, fake sticks. And as you can see in this picture right here.
So unicorn.
See how all 4 of those are lit? 2 of those are fake, Joe. They have just pinouts for specific modules so that there's 2 real modules, 8 gig, 8 gig, and then there's 2 dummy sticks that just follow the RGB so you have no unpopulated lanes.
So A, they're not demoing a legitimate product other than 2 out of the 4 sticks. And did they show anything to corroborate the specs of the memory? Or was this all for show?
It was like 32, if I remember correctly, it was like 3200 megahertz. But the thing is, they're called RGB infused demo modules.
Demo?
Demo, D-E-M-O, demo. Not D-I-M-M, no.
D-I-M-M-O, D-I-M-M-O, D-I-M-M-O in Gigabyte, or what's his name? Oh.
Please, someone clip that, because that's got to be next week's coming soon. Good Lord. Joe, I don't know how you come up with this. I love you for it, but geez, dude.
Can you turn it down a notch?
No, that is amazing. Please keep going, but your Facebook died, I think.
My Facebook is having a stroke, yes.
No, or is that your laptop? I'm not sure.
No, Facebook's stroking out.
His video looks like when you used to turn to a bad channel and you'd have all that weird garbled stuff. It literally looks like he's trying to steal cable right now.
Yeah.
So, RGB fused demo modules, good job, Gigabyte. Actually, I think it's kind of cool because...
They look nice.
Well, the thing is, you could show like an awesome looking DIMM population while having the memory you need for gaming. Because how many times have you seen a system? We build systems with just 2 sticks. And it looks cool, but imagine if you had dummy sticks in there, and as long as it didn't cost a lot to add those. Because adding those dummy sticks, if it costs a lot, kind of pointless.
Dummy sticks.
Now, Joe.
You want to play dummy sticks, Chad?
Joe, I'm going to pull the knife out of your back here in a second because Fantex releases Evolve X.
Gee, and I wonder what that fixes.
Probably all the stuff we modded on your case.
Awesome. Thanks, Fantex. Appreciate it.
I figured you'd take special interest in the fact because...
special interest to what? The fact that they scooped my eyeballs out with a spoonful of salt? Yeah, I absolutely did.
So as you can see, this thing has integrated front diffused RGB. So it has an integrated RGB capability. It's got flip open back cable management doors that can mount 9 SSDs. I hear Joe's soul dying. Now, one thing they did was that they did have a mini ITX mounting tray for, I think, like a $15 option or something like that. Some silly stuff.
Okay.
But I do got to ask, the dual system thing, like I noticed the, I don't know, 1000Ds that came out from Corsair. They have and you have the Fantex, I don't know what, that Elite $1,000 case. They have the mini ITX mounting inside for a second system. Yes. How many requests do you get for dual internal systems? 0. That's what I figured, okay. But how much demand have I even seen? I'm part of a lot of computer communities.
Hey,
I mean, streaming maybe.
You remember in a galaxy far, far away when we did that Intel Rig Challenge at PAX, and one of our competitors actually got docked points for doing a dual system in a single case because it was impractical?
Yeah. Well, that was dual. Full at the time X99 systems.
Yes.
With
player one,
dual Titan XPs.
Player 1, Player 2, VR, go. Hey, can you do VR in the same system? Well, now you can.
We can do 4 in one system, just saying, with MUVR.
Yeah.
We can already do 4 VRs in one system. I was just doing that kinda, just a little. I was just kind of like, hey, your 2 systems. Hey, your 2 systems. 4, go for it. Good job.
I raise you 2.
So, dual system capable, I feel like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there is a real usable need for dual systems?
I mean,
I don't know of a need where dual systems would be beneficial.
I will say one. I will say one scenario I know personally to which that would cater to, and that's my sister and my brother-in-law, because my sister just texted me a couple days ago and asked if she could play PUBG with Brandon.
Yeah.
Her fiance.
The one we've been playing with.
Yes.
Yes.
And I told her, yes, but you need your own PC. And she was just dumb, because they come from a setup of using consoles to where, like, if you play Call of Duty online, it just split screens it. And so she assumes, like, yeah, you know, we can do this. How do you do it? I'm like, you can't. Get another PC. And she thought that was dumb. So.
Or an internal streaming machine as well.
Yeah, I could see this being a niche product for sure, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a case manufacturer to come out with, 1,000 to 5,000 units of this case and ship them to America and expect them all to sell.
I do like what Fantex did, though. They made an add-on accessory. It's just a bracket.
Yeah, if you just
Otherwise,
buy it,
everything else.
Yeah, like if you're not utilizing that area of the case and you add that bracket and Bob's your
Or you can just mount fans there or radiator, or you can allocate it to being. So I think they did it in a tasteful way and a usable way for those that actually need it. Now, hopefully they didn't make like 50,000 of those brackets, because they might be working on a lot of cases for dual systems for a very long time to get rid of those.
Yeah.
Because you got to have an I/O output, which means you got to have some sort of panel back there, I'd imagine. Because otherwise, how are you going to hook up your keyboard, mouse, all that stuff to the second system?
Yeah, you're not. I mean, unless you're using all wireless stuff, then it doesn't matter.
That's true. That's true. And like Chad said, I've seen them asked for, but they are very specific in need. And that's the thing. Like even a streaming system, a lot of times Mini ITX won't necessarily service it because maybe you need a capture card along with other devices. And one thing about ITX boards, which I'm going to be talking about in a video next week, the X299 AVADirect board. One slot, like every other Mini ITX board.
Right.
So it's moot.
You know, one case manufacturer that'd be the perfect culmination of being able to create the option to really go far with a dual system case.
What's that?
Shh. Be quiet.
Did you seriously just drop that?
Came from me. Came from me. So if you see it.
What about Fractal Design? Because they're quiet too.
They're also very rugged.
I didn't hear you because you whispered into the microphone.
They're also very rugged.
Someone type what he said. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Make me one. Duh. Thanks, Maureen. Maureen busted make me one. Duh. So I guess we're going to be doing another live build for Joe's sister.
Great. Perfect. Awesome.
Awesome. So this is what we do here. We make PCs.
PCs.
PCs. So I think some of the stuff they did on the Evolve X, I just wish it was available when you built your system, because it would have required us not tearing apart the whole case.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't have had to cut up a 12-pack empty box of Coca-Cola and use that to cover the vents at the top of the case, so the air wasn't deflecting back down at my motherboard. Fantex, if you catch wind of this, do the right thing. Make me whole. That's all I'm saying.
What did Fantex do to you?
Chewed up 15 hours of my life to correct their mistake.
Yours and mine. We worked on that together, remember? It kept blowing pumps up and all that stuff. That was fun stuff. That was an awesome night.
It was an absolute nightmare.
That was, but you know what? It's done now. It's happy. For now.
It's a pretty color.
Hey, it's an awesome theme. I think your build looks way better than mine, that's for sure. You actually spent time on it.
I went through like 6 Thermaltake LED fittings in the process.
I think he went through 2 packs. I think he went through like 12 of them because literally all you have to do is like breathe on the fittings and they fall apart. Hook it up to a Raspberry Pi. Oh boy. Okay, so going back to the environmental nature of EK water blocks, EK shows a wood liquid cooling parts display.
Never have to cool on wood.
You're not wrong. This is the most weird lifestyle thing I've ever seen in PC components. And this is saying something, because I've seen a lot of crap.
This appeals to the dad that has children in soccer, but also says, I want to party.
It's the mullet of liquid cooling.
If this were that 70s show, this would be in Red's system.
I feel like those water blocks, if they could, they would own it El Camino, and they'd be doing burnouts in the high school parking lot trying to impress the young girls.
I mean, absolutely. Just driving to Led Zeppelin concerts and doing very illegal things that those teenage youngsters shouldn't be doing.
And you'd be complaining about all the young kids' music.
I know, but I bet these blocks get great gas mileage and very economical.
And I'm betting they like the chia seed stuff, that stuff that you get in the health food store.
Right. Flax seeds?
I have no idea. I don't eat it.
And I wonder if these blocks have a seat that fold out in the back.
What, did it just become a van again, or what? Does it drive like a VW bus?
This is ridiculous. Why don't they just call the EK blocks PT Cruisers?
William Johnson said, I've got wood.
He said what we're all thinking.
William asked a very good question. He said, show us on the doll where Fantex touched. Why is this happening? So, I don't know. It's a lifestyle audience thing. I'm really hoping they didn't make a lot of them. I'm hoping they're successful because they look neat for those who want to make a system out of bamboo. I don't know. Maybe they want to feed their systems to a koala. I don't know.
You mean a panda?
Whatever. Panda, koala, there's not a big difference there.
Yeah, you know, they want to give peanuts to their chimpanzees.
Drop bears.
And bananas to the elephants.
Hey, apparently my watch thinks I'm not active enough. It's asking me to do a torso twist.
So do a torso twist. Come on. You're not doing it right. It beeps at you. I
shut it off. I shut it off.
Mine says I've been active for 1 hour and 50 minutes. Torso twist.
Mine said 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let's go.
It's not registering.
Just kill it.
There's one. Hold on, listen.
Okay, so while he's doing that, I'm just going to say, nice try, EK. I mean, EK, okay, one thing I got to say. EK's management's changed recently. They had a big shakeup. A lot of people left, and some new people are kind of running it. So maybe this is a new direction, trying to make something unique, because everyone's making, water blocks are kind of one of those things where you don't see something super special. As a matter of fact, we looked at those heat killer blocks. Those things look badass. I met the guy at PAX, and they look really good.
They could have just jumped on the hype train and just RGB'd their blocks.
They'd have RGB.
They have one CPU block that's RGB.
No, but they have the things you can add to any of their acrylic blocks.
Yeah, but it's like the little pegs that you drop in a diode and...
No. They have the little mini strips that you put into the bottom. It's got like a little cutout, so it'll light up straight through.
You know who does RGB cooling right for their blocks? Fantex and Thermaltake.
Yeah, I do got to give credit where credit's due. Thermaltake did really well with the RGB implementation of their blocks. It's actually shined through really good. I think that they've stepped up the game as far as their stuff. I just wish the quality was better because I've seen a lot of reports of problems as far as, especially with the aluminum radiators, kind of crapping all over the place when it comes to performance.
You remember when you actually saw the RGB fittings up close because you said that you helped with the design of that. And then when we actually got them, you were like, no, this isn't
wrong.
This isn't it. No, what'd they do?
Yeah, I felt very, very hurt by that.
Violated. Okay. So maybe you should show us on the doll where Thermaltake touched you.
I'm uncomfortable with this line of questioning.
Okay.
I feel like the doll would be, it would just the whole doll. It's just, the whole thing's done. The whole doll's dead.
Burn the doll.
The doll just needs to be burned.
That sounds like a pretty good metal band name.
Chad made a good point. If it were 5 years ago, there were a lot of wood case mods they'd go with. Because remember, there used to be all those people doing the wood case mods.
There were people actually cutting cases out of wood and installing components in it.
A guy from PDX named Larry Anderson. He made probably one of the best ones. He made a full stained glass window and everything.
Wow.
It looked amazing. It was one of the most exquisite mods. It was in CPU Mag back before they died. CPU Mag recently ripped.
Yeah, RMP.
Yeah. The thermals on that wood is what I wonder. Yeah, it's water cooled, but there's a certain amount of radiation even on a water block. The fittings look neat with the wood, I could see. The thing is, the wood is only a covering for the standard block. So it's not like they're making the whole block out of wood. They're just making a covering. I feel like it's a neat thing. It's a neat aesthetic, but it's very, very, very niche. Just like the system inside a system. The whole systemception thing, I feel like is very niche.
Sysception.
Now we're getting to the part you asked about, games. E3. E3 is starting very, very, very soon in LA. I am glad I am no longer there because E3 is fun, but since they opened it to public, it is an absolute nightmare.
Is it really?
Yes. I went to the first day they opened it to public, walked in, walked out, said, not for me anymore. And I went to E3 for a long time.
Really?
And E3, they opened it to public a couple of years ago.
You got to think about it too. When you go to conventions, and this is no slight on the consumer side of things, but I've gone to conventions where it's not necessarily public, but it's primarily businesses and representatives of media, and everybody kind of has a certain level of respect for the things that they interact with. And once you go to places like PAX, like it's a mixed bag. You'll have people that are respectful and kind and just want to take care of their agenda, what they want there for, and then you have people that are just super rude.
Or they show up and try to take stuff inappropriately, or they push things over or damage them just because they can, because they're attendees and they feel like they're not responsible for it.
Right.
And that's the thing. And not to mention, you walk up, you want to see a demo at E3, it was already an hour, hour and a half wait to try something, maybe less, depending, because it was all industry people. Now, it's everyone, which means you're talking a full day's wait to possibly try one demo that you want to try. And that sucks.
That was me at PAX when we went, and I wanted to go into the Resident Evil 7 house.
Remember, we came back. Well, this might have been the trip. That was a trip before me.
That was the first PAX in September, and then we went to the second PAX.
We went second PAX, and we're like, let's show up early, and we're going to check out all the things, and that's what we did.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
No, it was really cool.
I feel like, I mean, go ahead, share. You were telling about the PAX you went to.
Oh no, I just wanted to go into the Resident Evil 7 house before Resident Evil 7 released, and I didn't get a chance by the time I turned around. It was a line all the way around, and they ended up having to give people tickets because they just couldn't fit enough people into the time allotted.
Now, William Johnson, once again, he hit a somewhat sore subject now for me. No Man's Sky 2, you know you want it.
Brooke, can you do me a favor and can you find the comparison video between No Man's Sky when they showed it and what it actually ended up being? Yeah. Can you look for that? Yeah, that's why nobody wants No Man's Sky 2.
Oh yeah, the burp, 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 burp. That was like the really bad reenactment of the Jurassic Park theme. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you now, they just recently did an update, and now it's actually a playable game, and there's actually some cool features.
How many years later?
Oh, it's several years. Several years. And believe me, there was actually a meme a while back where it had this chick holding a box for the launch collector's edition No Man's Sky, and it's like, and it was captioned. It said, every time we get excited about a game release, I make her hold on to the box of remembrance or something like that. Or the box of shame. I forget what it was.
Why her? Why couldn't it be he?
Because she was the one excited about a new game, obviously.
Why do you go to assume her orientation, bro?
You mean assume her gender?
Orientation.
Orientation. She doesn't have a serial port, I don't think, unless she's an android. Maybe she's a robot. Then what? Then she doesn't have a gender. Then what? Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Why is it? There's not. Wait, there might be smoke coming out of your ears. I'm not sure.
I don't understand.
So, PUBG. Apparently, that's a thing.
Oh, it's me, PUBG.
So, PUBG has been popular in the butt of many jokes, especially with us. Now there's a parody game.
There's too much of a pause.
Now there's a parody game, and it looks like magic.
Please don't get sued.
Please stay being a game. This looks amazing. And this is something that we would really like to play live if you guys are interested. I feel like this is going to be really cool.
And I also feel like it's the one and only game that people would find it acceptable for your avatar to not wear pants.
Yeah, because it's literally, he looks like Inflatable Tube Man. Like you see outside of one of those really shady like car dealerships.
Wacky waving arm flailing Inflatable Tube Man.
You just need the one with the arrow pointing to funeral. So if you guys would like to see us play that live, let us know. If you want to download it and join us, it's free for the time being. Jump in and grab it while you can, because we'd love to play it with you guys. Oh, William Johnson again. Okay, serious time. So with the 6, 8, 10, and 28 core, I feel like it's a big jump and there's a lot of CPUs missing between 10 and 28, but that's okay. Out there and coming out, when you guys think that developers will actually start properly utilizing more than 2 to 4 cores, it's not even up to the developers. It's up to the game engines. If game engines don't support it at the base level, you can't utilize more cores than what the game engine can use.
That's why the new Unreal Engine was such a big deal, because it's supposed to be like core agnostic. Doesn't matter what core you have in your computer, it's supposed to use it.
It scales to whatever you have.
No.
But even then the game developers have to enable that, which obviously means some severe recodes in the game and how they build big games. So that's big game. And the other problem, enabling that ability or relying on it could be a real problem, because people still, a lot of games are built for console and PC.
And you can thank console makers for that.
Yeah, consoles don't have a lot of horsepower. So if they code a game to utilize a lot of CPU cores, they're going to be up a creek pretty quick when someone loads it on a console and they're getting half an FPS.
Things are much different when people actually thought that PC gaming made them money.
Yeah, well, when they focused on PC games, then dumbed them down for consoles, it was really helpful.
It used to be the opposite. I remember the day and age when they used to port games from PC to the console, and the console
William Johnson said, I want that. So he saw that PUBG game.
Yeah.
You can get it free. Go get it.
Yeah, so you can get it right now. You can get it free.
You add it to your playlist and you're just done. Download it and you can play with us. And we'll also be announcing other stuff with that soon. But go ahead. You were saying about consoles that...
Oh, they used to port PC games to consoles, and it was a mess for console makers, but good. We had it first.
Yeah, and even then, it's within the dev team's capability. And I understand there are smaller dev teams out there. There are times when you can, for instance, have the excuse that I don't have a big enough team to code it for both. I understand. Right. And I understand console has a huge market share because it's simple. You plug the thing in and you start it up. Well, if you buy from AVADirect, you plug it in and start it up. It's no harder than buying a console. You buy it, but the great part is you get the adjustment of visual fidelity, which is huge. Yeah, you can link to the download. Actually, thank you. I just realized I'm answering you. Basically, we're going to be linking in the chat for the Steam link so that you guys can download that game and potentially jump in with us and have some fun. We're likely going to be streaming it this weekend, as long as we can get Facebook live stream. I guess if Facebook live stream doesn't work well, too bad. You guys can join us either way. We stream on multiple channels like we're doing right now. Yeah. Mixer, Twitch, YouTube. But we found out last weekend that Facebook live stream, what was it, like an hour behind you?
Yeah. I
cut off the stream at like 4 hours, and Facebook's like, yeah, we only had 2 hours of streaming. I'm like, cool. Guess so. That's a thing.
That's the thing. The game's kind of like playing as Gumby with ARs.
Yeah, so you're like, blah, 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 just trying to aim. I feel like that's going to be magic, because it's also going to throw a curveball at someone like you, which means I'll stand a chance, because you're going to have a rough time trying to aim with noodle arms.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I have my highlights and I have my low points in PUBG like anybody else.
Dude, you blow away a lot of people at that game.
Not always. There's been plenty of games that Chad's murdered like 6 people and I haven't killed a single person.
Okay, both of you guys wreck in that game. I just pretty much run as bait.
No, you don't run as bait. You're good. You're good too, dude. The thing is, it's like that game requires, in my opinion, PUBG requires a significant amount of discipline to immediately recognize what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and you play to them accordingly. Like, I'm not great at rushing into buildings when I know somebody's in there, noise be damned, and then gunning them down in a head-to-head fight. I'm good at being patient, waiting for my opportunity to strike, and shooting them right in the back when they can't see me.
That works. You're one of those guys that lays out in the field outside a house and wait for someone to get out?
No, I don't do that, but it's like kind of like when we were playing, it was me, you, Chad, and Alex. Excuse me. We were running into the circle, and as I was running, I had my camera panned to the right, and I saw 3 dudes crouched behind a rock, and they hadn't noticed me yet, so I took the opportunity to crouch down and shoot at them, and I headshot all 3 of them and took them out before they can even realize what was going on. Like, I'm good at recognizing opportunity in that regard. I'm not good at just like running in head-to-head when my presence is recognized. So
yeah, And I mean, heck, Alex, he's been a lot better with that too. Remember, he almost mowed someone down with that micro Uzi, so he's getting better over time. So
that's right.
We're building an AVADirect, eventually PUBG esports team. Go. That's now a thing.
Now we just need the jerseys.
Jerseys with our actual gaming names on them.
Jerseys with our actual handle on them.
Not like, your name.
Like we asked for.
Not looking at you, Intermax. I mean, anyone. Like they're actually watching this.
Probably not. No, it doesn't matter.
So beyond that, guys, the other things we have is some AVADirect news. AMD Far Cry 5 bundle. So for those of you who haven't had Far Cry 5 yet, if you get an AVADirect system with a RX Vega card or RX 580 based AVADirect system, you get a free Far Cry 5 copy. So be sure to keep that in mind, guys, because this is something that's a really awesome game in my opinion. Not that I've had a lot of time to play it, thanks PUBG, but it is there. Right. It is an amazing offer as far as getting a free game. You're getting a damn good card with an RX Vega or 580. I feel like those are plenty competent for playing most any game out there.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Other than that, you know, it has been extended, so you have it for a little longer. And then we have the Dads and Grads sale, which is now live. It's been live since last week. Up to $600 off select AVADirect systems. Thank you, Joe. Free shipping and discounts on tons of models, a lot of cool stuff you can get. Let us know if there's something you need. You know, you never know. It might even be something we can include in that. If there's a system specifically you're looking at that maybe matches similar, but something else you need, give someone like Joe a call. Maybe he can help you out getting a discount on what you need to make sure you have a gaming system so you can join us on our live stream and do some cool stuff with an AVADirect powered system. Because we're looking to build an AVADirect community or family now where we can all game together, and we're definitely in the process of doing that. Right now it's internally, but now we're working with you guys. We want to have some fun with you guys. Intel Gaming Bundle and the Intel VR Bundle, I believe, are both still kind of a thing at this time.
Yes, they are.
And we are giving away all kinds of cool games from our friends at Intel, as long as you get Intel.
Thanks, Intel.
As long as you get an Intel-powered system. So now what you can do, you can actually double down. Get an Intel-powered system with an RX Vega card or an RX 580 card, and you can get all kinds of cool games and Far Cry 5. Just saying, we actually allow that. We don't care.
Far Cry 5.
We're totally cool with you guys doubling up on that. Once again, if you have a problem, give this guy a call. He'll help set you up and get you something going.
Call in and say, Joe and Shannon told me to, and I'll give you an extra $50 off.
He said it, not me, so it's up to him to honor that.
Joe and Shannon told me to.
So there you go.
If the representative on the phone says told you to what, you say, that's classified. I need to speak to Joe right now.
And then you tell them that Joe's pants were on fire when he said that, and then they will know that's the key word that you're getting $50 off.
You say that my pants were on fire because I was a liar.
So what you're saying is there's a party?
Everybody is invited.
And everyone's invited. Okay, I got it.
Everybody.
My Intermax. Chad, no. He just said my Intermax jersey has my gamer name on it.
Of course it does, Chad.
Mine does too.
Oh, good. So I'm the only one.
But you're Joe. So now
Great.
Now you're officially Joe.
Awesome.
And guys, I think that's about going to wrap it up. That's a lot of our topics. I know we went through a lot of cool new tech. I really hope you enjoyed it. By the way, I want to remind you guys, and we're going to post a few reminders as well. Next week, we will be deviating from our normal schedule to Wednesday at 2:30 p.m.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, if you say it phonetically. Wednesday. So Wednesday on... It is the 13th. Oh, yay, lucky 13. So the 13th, Wednesday of June, we will be having our live stream, deviating from our normal schedule. But for the most part, every Friday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be bringing you whatever tech news you guys want to talk about. If there's something specifically you want mentioned, either mention it in the chat during the stream or message us beforehand. Message me directly. I don't care.
Give him a call. Send him a text. Send him some mail. Just tell him. Say something.
Send a letter. Carrier pigeon.
Spell a message in the sky with a plane that you stole from an airport.
Or smoke signals. Smoke signals are good.
Shannon,
Or a drum. Just saying. I feel like we had kind of reached sync there for a second.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, other than that, guys, thank you for joining us. Please join us each week.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Joe, for joining me. And thank you for being part of this wonderful operation.
Always a pleasure.
We call Brainwash our customers. Oh, wait, sorry. Yes. I mean, we love you guys.
One and only mission to take over the world.
And be sure, guys, to join us, like or follow our Twitch. Check out our YouTube. We have all kinds of cool videos featuring Joe and myself, depending on which topic it is, where we talk about some of our cool new systems, cool tech coming out.
Speaking of our killer machines, you need to check out our showroom page when you get a chance, too.
Yeah, we actually have our showroom page is now live. We are showing off some of our newest systems and everything that we build. We like to, or not everything, but some select systems that we think are really awesome. We're going to be showing off some cool pictures coming up very soon as the page goes live. It's not up quite yet, but it will be. And but other than that, please join our. Maybe we'll get a video of Joe doing this, or we'll just put this up as like a placeholder on our YouTube because I'm not sure what he's doing right now, and I don't even want to look. Otherwise, you guys have a great weekend. Please join us on some live game streaming. And we'll be playing probably Totally Serious PUBG. I think that's what it was, or something like that. Totally Accurate PUBG.
Totally Accurate PUBG.
Thank God, I actually got it.
Totally Accurate Battlegrounds.
There we go. Totally Accurate Battlegrounds. Along with probably regular PUBG, because I'm sure if we can't play Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, as Brooke said she tried twice and sat for a while without getting in the game, that may be a complete failure, but we're going to try.
It's worth a shot.
It's always worth a shot.
Always.
Especially when you're sitting outside the circle.
Yes.
All right, guys, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to discussing the newest in tech news and all that cool stuff with you guys next week.
And all you have to ask yourself is, are you too legit to quit?
But we're quitting right now, Joe.
So long.
Take care, guys.